Good morning and welcome to Brewing Happiness. One of the things about a morning show is sometimes I don't talk a lot before I start. I need to do some exercises. Okay, that's better. Seems lately my camera is so close I staring at my nostrils. Good morning. It is better to give than to receive. How often have you heard that? Well, I know it feels pretty good to give. I know when you're a little kid and you hear that, you kind of roll your eyes because they're pretty happy to get a present. And who doesn't receive? Who doesn't love to get a gift, right? But receiving goodness, the joy of receiving is pretty short-lived. The joy of giving is forever. And that's our topic today, my friends. Welcome to Brewing Happiness. I'm Tina Ann, the Queen of Happiness. And then we're going to talk today about just why giving is so very important in our lives. And not just to our lives, but to our happiness. And that's our topic today. Great inner joy is created by giving of yourself. And by giving, you give all the time, but think about giving. Giving is taking care of your kids. Giving is taking in your neighbor's trash cans. Giving is buying an ice cream because the guy next to you doesn't have enough money to buy it. Giving is giving to your favorite charity every month because you believe in the good work that they're doing. Giving is volunteering your time to help those less fortunate or to help let others benefit from the skills and experience you have created. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Giving fills your heart and nourishes your soul. As I reflect on the lessons I've been talking about in the book Power versus Force, the lesson of that book, the singular lesson was connectivity, that we're all connected, that we're all the same, that we're all part of one giant collective. And so helping others is really just helping ourselves, helping the team, helping the universe, helping the system that supports us, that surrounds us, that is part of our life. So giving fills your heart, excuse me, and it has an intrinsic reward. The giving is far more valuable. The gift of giving, the gift of putting someone else first, the gift of thinking of someone else, and the generosity of spirit to do something nice for someone else. Well, that spirit, that giving heart, that feeling lasts far beyond that meal at McDonald's that you buy someone, right? But far beyond the gift that you give. Mahatma Gandhi says, to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. Right? What happens? We take our mind off ourselves. We stop examining every little flaw in our life. We stop stressing, or we get some relief from stressing about the responsibilities and the churn of daily life, right? We take our eye off of ourselves and put it on someone else for a second. Put someone else's needs ahead of our own for a second. Our own seem to disappear, right? Academic research, along with thousands of years of history, right, confirm that fulfillment and happiness spring from giving to others. It's legendary. Mother Teresa is a great example, right? She found fulfillment giving herself to others completely. She completely gave up herself to give to others, and she changes the expression on dying people's faces from fear to peace. She made the unbearable bearable. and that was her gift and service to the world. Now, none of us are really, very few of us are Mother Teresa, right? Vibrating up here at the 500 level. While most of us are down here at 200, maybe 250. But that doesn't mean we can't give. That doesn't mean we can't all be like Mother Teresa and have elements of that in our life. Well, why do we give? Well, because we believe God wants us to, right? We give because we feel better about ourselves. Maybe we're guilty for being so blessed. So we give a little to feel better about ourselves. And our others have needs. We see people that have needs and we want to share. We have so much. We want to share. The real question is, how do you feel when you give? The real question is, think back to a time when you've given something to someone unexpected, nothing expected in return, just an act of generosity. Saw someone that needed something and you gave it to them. How did you feel? When you focus on others, we're less likely to be consumed with our own daily turmoil, right? With the little things that we sometimes can accidentally or come to focus on. It gives us a chance to look out beyond our own business, right? To see the bigger world, to have the perspective of a bigger world than just our little needs or our little section of the world. You can get such a different perspective by stepping out and venturing into the bigger world of other people and getting close to people who are not like you, who don't have what you have. And well, first of all, your troubles don't seem so bad, right? When you start getting out and helping others, it gives us a perspective of where the things that we really sometimes worry about and don't need to worry about, where do those fall in the big picture? The power of giving is manifested in kindness and generosity, right? That's where giving is. It lives in kindness and generosity. And when you give unselfishly, again, when you give with no expectation of anything in return, you give simply because you see someone in need and you want to help. Well, that vibrational energy is so strong. The vibrations of giving, we're rising up the tube when we are giving. The Chinese proverb says, if you always give, you will always have. I love that. Ken Blanchard, a famous author, says, the more I give, the more comes back to me. Here's a tip, having an unhappy day, feeling a little funky, need a little pick-me-up, do something nice for someone. You can't believe how much better you will feel about your funky day. When you make someone else happy, you get happy too. Can't help it, right? Can't help but smile when we make somebody else happy. When we take the focus off ourselves and on someone else, and we see what our act has done. It's a two-way. It's a two-way. Giving is happiness, as even if you are the giver or the receiver, right? It is. Oh, here's something I do. Just a little pro tip. Something I try to do when I'm mad at someone close to me. I'm mad at the man, been thoughtless, or somebody said something, or we all get our little pennies in an uproar once in a while. When that happens, I do something nice for that person. It really helps me get over it. I know I'm feeling petty. I know I'm hanging on to things that don't matter. Whatever. He said something I didn't like. Small potatoes in the big picture of a man I love, who's kind and generous and helpful and smart and funny, and occasionally says something thoughtless. Really helps me put things into perspective, and to do something nice for him when that has happened, or for whomever it is, do something nice for someone when I'm unable to manufacture good feelings, flips the switch like that. Because giving is a connection. When you give to someone, you and the givee, whether you're the giver, let's say it again, whether you're the giver or the givee, you are blessed. You are blessed through this transaction of selflessness. It is the joy and happiness we extend to others. That's real happiness, right? The joy you spread, the joy you give, that's your connection with the divine. That's our connection with God. That's what our expectation is, to be here spreading joy for others. And we do that through giving of ourselves, of our heart, of our spirit, of our time, of our treasure. When we give the delight of smiles, laughter, joy, tears, gratitude. If everyone gave just a little, if everyone could cut out a few minutes a month for an hour a month for volunteering, a small portion of your budget for giving to charity, wouldn't the world be a great place if we all participated in the giving? I remember a story. I can't even remember the origins of the story. But the story of gifts of the gifts of the gifts to someone, and all the townspeople were giving beautiful cloths and gold and everything, and the little boy gave his only his only penny, right? That's giving. It's a terrible story. I told a terrible story, but I'm hoping you're following with me, right? The giving of that everyone gives, and that the giving, even when we have nothing, we can still give. Okay, that was a terrible story. Let's just admit that just didn't go like I planned it. Giving is good for you. That's the bottom line. Giving is good for you, and here's why. First of all, it makes you happy. In a 2006 study, Jorge Mal and his colleagues at the National Institute of Health found that when people give to charities, it activates the region of the brain that's associated with pleasure. That's right, pleasure in giving. We get the same responses that we do when we are doing something pleasurable, eating a good meal, have a good massage. Those same feelings of goodness are what's released when you give, right? It activates regions of the brain. Pleasure, social connections, and trust. Yes, giving causes trust. It creates a warm glow effect. Scientists believe that altruistic behavior releases endorphins in the brain. Our old friend, those endorphins, right? Same feel-good releases that we get, all kinds of goodness. Positive feelings. It's known as the helper's high. You get a little high from being that helper. The giver's glow, the helper's high. A couple different names for it, because it's a fact that internally you're getting feelings of goodness, a little bit of a high, just by being a helper. It's good for your health. In a 1999 study led by Doug Ullman of the University of California, Berkeley, he found that elderly people that's me, who volunteered for 2 or more organizations were 44% less likely to die over a 5-year period than non-volunteers. 44% less likely to die than their peers who did not volunteer. Right? And even after controlling for age, exercise habits, general health, negative health habits like smoking, still came out. Even after all that, those differences were normalized. Volunteering. That's called a regression analysis. For those of you that are interested in a little math, you would do a regression analysis to mathematically determine which inputs, which attributes are impacting and to what percentage they are impacting the outcome, in this case, longevity. 44%. Not something to sneeze at. Probably should get out there and start volunteering, right? Stephanie Brown at the University of Michigan saw a similar result in a 2003 study, and she did with elderly couples. And she said colleagues found that those who provided practical help to their friends, relatives, or neighbors, gave emotional support to their spouses, had a lower risk of dying over the same 5-year period than those who didn't. Interestingly, receiving help wasn't linked to a reduced health risk. Okay, so in this case, the receivers of this largesse, those who are the receiving end of you being a helping hand, an available friend, an available ear, a reliable resource, those that were the recipients of that didn't get that same boost. Helping others. Happiness, gratitude, and long life and health. How about that? Oh, a little cup of that nice warm Joe. Okay, and generosity makes you, not just you, but everyone around you happier. Generous people are fun to be around, right? Aren't they? They're not just generous with their checkbooks. Generous people are also generous with what? Their time, their talents, their words, their spirit, their comfort. They encourage others. They inspire them to be better. They make other people's lives better and stronger. They make us feel braver. They make us feel more confident. Generous people make us feel like we can do anything because we have their support, because we know that they'll be there for us. And even more than that, generosity is contagious. Did you know your generosity inspires others around you, those who observe you, those who are with you? those who know what you've done, inspires them to be more generous. Maybe not right this minute, but at some point in the future, they're inspired. People who are generous are good at making us feel good, because generosity is a lifestyle, right? It's not about opening your checkbook one time to give because the kids stop by at the front door and ask for a donation. And I'm so happy when you do that. But making it a habit, supporting causes that you believe in on a regular basis. Part of life, part of generosity, part of happiness. And it promotes cooperation and social connection, right? When you give, you create a connection. What's the old proverb that says, when you save a man's life, or a man saves your life, you're in debt forever, or you save his life, and I don't know. But there's a connection, right? A connection made by giving. When you give, you create that connection. And first of all, you encourage your recipient to be generous. When someone is generous to you, of course, that is a prompt for you to be generous again. It promotes trust and cooperation, strengthens our ties to others. How do you feel about someone that gives to you? Of course, it strengthens that bond, right? And when you give to someone else and you know you've helped them and they've been grateful back to you, of course you're connected forever. That memory is a connection that can never be severed. Never, never, never. Being kind and generous leads you to perceive others more positive. When you give, again, that generosity seeps into all areas of your life. We're not just generous in one place. Very few of us are just generous. Very few of you generous in just one place. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. Giving is the same as your cup overflowing. I like to say, with happiness, our goal is for our cup to overflow so that we are spreading joy and happiness around us. Right? If your cup doesn't overflow, you're sucking. You're making a sucking noise. You're pulling in resources. That generosity of spirit that overflows, of course, goes from our time, our treasure, our talents to our treasure. And yes, that means your checkbook. If you're blessed to have a job to get up and go to every morning, if you have a roof over your head and food to put on the table every day, you are more blessed than 99% of those in this world. And yes, you have an extra few dollars that you can throw at some cause you believe in, someone in need, because it's part of us. We're all here together. We're all in this together, right? And the benefits back to you, that's the scary part, just the great part about this, right? The benefits back to you when you give, in how great you feel, in that expansion of your soul, in your generosity of spirit. You're putting money in the bank of karma, right? Giving is building up goodwill. You might need it sometime. So giving makes us grateful, right? Whether you're on the giving or receiving end, we get a feeling of gratitude from giving. I'm grateful that I'm able to give. I'm grateful that I'm able to receive. Gratitude is an essential element. It is a pillar of happiness. There is no happiness without gratitude, right? And giving and gratitude, cousin twins. That's what we like to call our little cousins the same age around here that look alike. We call them cousin twins. Same, related, a little bit different. Being actively grateful. In one study, led the participants, being actively grateful. So they had some kids in a study, this was a college study, to keep a gratitude journal and write down 5 things they were grateful for every day for 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm not sure. I made up the time frame. I'm not sure how long. What they found was these people participating in the study found that they exercised more, that they were more optimistic, that they had a better general feeling about their lives overall, that they were more generous, that they gave more during this time they were keeping their gratitude Journal gratitude, generosity like this. Expressing gratitude strengthens the bonds of friendship and love, and nothing giving is part of gratitude. Like I said, if you're grateful for everything you have, you probably got a little something you can give. So, and last, we'll leave with this idea. Giving is contagious. Good morning, Debbie. Giving is contagious, right? There's a ripple effect. A study at the University of California in San Diego showed that when a person behaves generously, and again, we're talking generosity in all areas, in your checkbook, in your time, in your willingness to be there for others, that it inspired others to be generous 3 layers deep, from person to person to person. You have inspired someone who's observed you to be generous, who's inspired someone they know, who's then inspired someone they know. The ripple effect, the butterfly effect, you do things, we do things every day. We have no idea what happens past that act, right? You do something very small and kind for someone, you walk away and go on for your life. You have no idea what the impact of that kindness is. But I'm here to tell you, science says, studies show that kindness travels forward 3 times through 3 layers. That's heavy stuff, right? That's giving us the idea that is heavy stuff, because that's the idea that we each have the opportunity to create that ripple effect every day, to do something generous every day that inspires people to pay that forward, to look up and not just think about what do I need to do for me today, but what can I do for someone else today? 3 degrees of goodness from altruism, right? Giving is linked to happiness chemicals, releases oxytocin. These are the same chemicals that are released for breastfeeding, for sex, right? Supreme pleasure, supreme goodness, warmth, connection. Doesn't get bigger than that, right? Oxytocin. The same also releases endorphins, called like I said, called the helper's high, the giver's glow, as they say. So that's our show for today. Just a little bit on giving. Think of ways you can giving. It's available in your life. Giving is available in your life every day. It doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to give a lot to make a big difference. Helping someone take their shopping cart back. That's giving, right? Putting $5 in the tip jar. That's giving. Dropping the change in the children's fund at the grocery store. That's giving. Writing a check to a cause you really believe in. Or, even better, sign up for a monthly give. Even better, take a little bit out of his check each month and do a regular give. Declare to the world what you care about. Declare to the world that you care enough about it to put your generosity behind it. Okay, generosity. That's our show for today. Generosity of spirit, generosity of checkbook. I'm hoping it gives you something to think about. If you're here on the replay, so happy to have you. Until tomorrow, and by the way, tomorrow will be the last show for the next couple of weeks. I'll be on vacation, and I'll be scheduling old shows during that time. The time's not going on. The time won't go blank. I'll be scheduling some reruns of some old favorites during the 7 o'clock hour in the 2 weeks to come. But I'll be here tomorrow. So until tomorrow will be a great show. Join me tomorrow as we go off script, off location, and do something fun. So here we go. Until tomorrow, make it a happy day.